Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
And do we have an exciting announcement to tell you?
In a minute.
In a minute. What do you mean? Right? Are I doing it right now?
Want to do the news first? Like the skim over
Yeah, okay.
really quick?
Yeah.
Just we'll highlight a couple things really quick.
Okay, yeah. So, contain myself here.
Yeah.
And we will announce that in a second. Let's bust out some news.
Just
Case,
really quick.
Go ahead.
Because there's some Han Solo news that we will talk about later. We'll hold that off a bit. But just really quick about Episode 8, Last Jedi, still on track, very much so. Interview with Bob Iger. This is on Variety. Bob Iger talks about the Han Solo movie and Episode 8, where mainly a little bit about Carrie Fisher. I'll just read some quotes here, just kind of go through this. But Bob Iger says that we are not changing 8 to deal with her Carrie Fisher, her passing. Her performance remains as it was in 8. In Rogue One, we created digitally a few characters. We're not doing that with Carrie for 8. Is what he's referring to.
So she's all completed for it.
Yeah, they're not going to dumb down her role or take out some scenes to kind of write her off. She's in 8 as she was, which is, as it says here, pretty extensive. Then Han Solo, which we'll talk about later. And then something cool here. It says that Bob Iger talks about how the company's creative team is working on Star Wars stories that go well beyond Episode 9. Well beyond Episode 9. Thinking about what could be another decade and a half of Star Wars stories. Hopefully we'll get the third anthology
I think they'll
film.
do a lot of stuff possibly
Sure,
Episode 1. There's got to be a ton of Yoda stuff you can do, right?
Yeah, Pablo Douglas says that they'll probably never do like a complete origin, like find out what his species is. Like
I think that's cool. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you can still do when he's like 100 years old. You
Yeah,
know?
he got 800 years there to play
Exactly.
with.
You know,
That'd be perfect.
see him in his prime.
Yeah. Last thing, with this little Variety interview with Iger, talking about more about Episode 8. He's tight-lipped about it, but he says that he reviews dailies, the daily footage, in his laptop in his bed under the covers to keep the project secret from his own teenage boys. So that's just kind of funny to think, like, this guy's, well, first of all, he's the president of Disney, so or CEO of Disney, so of course he's going to have that access, but to watch Episode 8 footage on your laptop in your bed right now, like before anybody else can see it. That's just so cool to think of.
Yeah.
Other than that, Rogue One's coming out very soon in digital release.
Well, it's now.
Now. Do it now. Buy it now.
You can get it now.
Sorry.
I mean,
now.
this is out by Friday.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like, I think at midnight, it's, we're recording this on Thursday.
Absolutely.
I'll probably be up at midnight. I'm probably going to see if it's available. I'm going to buy it, and I'm going to probably start watching it. Because that's and then officially it releases on Blu-ray April 4th.
Yes,
which is a week from Tuesday. So we don't have to wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing they're doing that now. Do you notice that
digital release?
They're doing their releases on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tuesdays is still the Blu-ray DVD sign, but yeah, that's it's awesome.
So that's the movies right now, everybody. So,
do you don't want to talk about the Han Solo thing then?
We can. Do you want to do that now?
Or let's do that now. Okay, let's do that now. It's movies.
Yeah, back to that interview. It's kind of a decent topic to talk about. So, going through this again, in that same Variety article, Bob Iger talks about the Han Solo movie, and it's almost what we feared would happen. Han Solo, the film Han Solo, will follow his life from the age of 18 through 24. That right there is something to talk about. He goes on to say the film will include acquiring a certain vehicle and meeting a certain Wookiee. You'll also discover how he got his name.
How he got his name?
Yes. Now,
So his name's not Han Solo?
that's what it seems to be, or maybe it's a cheeky way of saying like how he earned his name.
Earned who he is.
Who he is, kind of a thing.
That's probably more like it.
Because they're like, what's his name? Like Simon
Yeah. Pegg?
Johnson. Yeah, like what would his name be? Like, why would he get his name? I don't know. Maybe it's like a Kanan Jarrus thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But 18 to 24. First of all, it's crazy. It's the spans.
For one, it's a huge time jump.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
'Cause it's not like Rogue One where you see her young and then all of a sudden
sure, yeah,
she's older. You're going to see something happen, years go by, something happen, years go by. I mean, because that's... Now, yeah. So I guess because there's no rumors or release about a younger character, younger person actor playing a younger version, like a 10-year-old version of it.
No.
So it just seems like... So what's his name? Alden?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. So he's playing an 18-year-old.
Yeah, which he could. He has a young face.
Yeah.
He can do that. Yeah.
But he's what, your age?
He's a little older than me. He's his late 20s, later 20s.
So he's got the 18-year-old look, and then he'll get to 24. But yeah, that's so. Let's put this in perspective because we keep saying that we're pretty sure he's roughly 28 to 30, right?
Shy, yeah.
In
years too shy of 30, probably. Yeah.
Because the twins are 19, right? So he's 10 years or so, a little
roughly
older.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's the general consensus, I think. I've yet to read an official canon thing,
until this movie comes out, probably won't have anything official.
Yeah, exactly.
When we get the visual dictionary of that movie, probably put his age in there.
Yeah.
But so you're thinking 18 years. This is, actually that is actually pretty cool if you think about it. 18. So 10. So that's about 10. No, actually, actually I was thinking it maybe into the Clone Wars, but it's actually beyond that.
Because he was around 10 in the Clone Wars. So
yeah, so this is
8, 9, 10.
So this is 8 years into the Galactic Civil War, basically, right? Although there's debate about that now. Sidebar. Well, now that we know from Rebels, the actual alliance didn't form until 3 years before New Hope. So was there really a civil war?
Galactic Civil War. Yeah.
Prior to that, there was insurgents.
No, I wouldn't count the Civil War to happen before that.
Right. So the Civil War has actually been going on just for like 3 years.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years before New Hope, right?
Yeah.
Because the one of the first words that we've ever saw is it is a period of civil war, right? But it kind of felt, I don't know, for some reason I felt like, well, maybe it was just me. That the Galactic Civil War has been going on since basically the formation of the Galactic
It's
Empire.
generally classified as the Dark Times.
The Dark Times. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So 10 years into the Dark Times.
Yeah. That's kind of what.
I'm sorry. 8 years into the Dark Times.
Yeah.
So roughly then 6 years later, you're talking 14 years beyond Episode 3, which is roughly the beginning of Rebels. So this kind of butts right up to Rebels.
Yeah.
Is what we're claiming to be Han Solo's age.
Yeah.
So
it's just we still don't know what he's going to look like. I mean, if they'll do any kind of work to him,
right?
Like prosthetics or digital, I don't know.
Because we said anywhere in your 20s,
yeah,
it's Han Solo.
So hard,
or it's Harrison Ford.
It's so hard. I'm just going to have to deal with it, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's just, there's no way around it.
There's no way around it.
Although I was, what was I watching? Oh, Beauty and the Beast. Did you catch the Pirates of the Caribbean trailer before Beauty and the Beast?
Yes.
Just young Johnny Depp. They did a young Johnny Depp in that. Digitally recreated a young Johnny Depp in that trailer. Because they showed a flashback of...
That wasn't a different actor?
That was Johnny Depp. That was exact. It was like a Robert Downey Jr. thing.
Oh, yeah, but that looked completely different, though. I felt
watch it again because it looks like a 21 Jump Street Johnny Depp.
Ah,
so Disney did it again, and it's just like I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like they're so good at this. Like, why can't?
Because they do it for they can't do it for a whole movie yet, though. That's the hard part.
Not,
you know. because I know how the Tarkin stuff was really good, and Leia was only one scene. But can you sustain that through an entire movie?
Yeah.
I don't, and make it look real. You know what I mean? Because
tough.
I think we had talked. I think we both settled on. I think prosthetics would be the best way.
Yeah, you don't need to do much.
You don't need to do much.
Yeah.
No, as long as it's
chin nose. Thing, maybe I don't know.
As long as it gets similar, because that picture we saw of the cast, he doesn't look like Harrison Ford. You know, he looks
enough.
similar.
Yeah, not enough to,
but
be like,
not a younger version. Yes.
Yeah,
but 4 years apart from it's like
I think of a kid watching the Han Solo movie, like going in order, watching the stuff for the first time, watching Han Solo, watching Rogue One, watching A New Hope. I mean, maybe they won't. If they're too young, they probably won't know the difference. I don't know if they'll be confused. Be like, that's Han Solo. It looks different.
You're right.
You know, that's why recasting is so. You can't do that. No. It's so hard. I know. Marvel. They recast. They don't care to recast people. They've done that before, but this is different.
That's not as sacred either. I know people might get mad about that, but that's.
Sure.
I mean, this because in Star Wars, just like in the comics, right? I mean, every comic there's a little difference between Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Because different artists draw them differently, right? Mm-hmm. So there's always a little bit of a difference in the way characters look. But in Star Wars, that was the thing so great about George is that and I know we've said this on here so many times, it's like he just took so much care into the relationships, I just remember an interview when he talked about casting Padme or Natalie Portman. He looked at what,
sure,
Mark Hamill's mom looked like when she was younger, what Carrie Fisher's mother looked like when she, and then that's what he felt like. That's what Natalie Portman looked like. So it's like, I mean, that's so much detail. You go into casting and making sure everything fits. But like you said, and then he could have done this too. Remember in episode 1, Captain Panaka, the guy playing Captain Panaka, didn't want to come back. Mm-hmm. So instead of recasting, because he knew that would throw people off, he created a different character.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do, right? And he was never, just think about it. Just think if that wasn't Mark Hamill in Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. Like, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how could you put anybody else there? Mm-hmm. It's Star Wars, man. And again, it has to me, it has to do with, when you have books, or not books, but you have comics that tie into this thing, or toys and posters and all this stuff. I mean, those likenesses, they're not, they're that character.
Yeah, well, even the books too. I mean,
somewhat, yeah.
When the EU was the EU, all the book covers,
correct,
had all their faces on it.
That's right. They're not doing so much the novels right now with. Well, no, Hair of the Jedi had Luke, had Mark Hamill on the cover. Yeah. I mean, it's like
you have the Han Solo Smugglers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Smugglers Run.
Yeah, that's right. He's on that. A New Dawn. I mean, that's what they would look like in live action, which is very much like their counterpart. So it's. But because it's true. Like, if there's a novel of the Han Solo, which is going to be,
in this
he's going to be on,
like a novel set in this era.
Yes.
Or
who are you going to use?
Yeah. I know. That's tough. That's so tough.
Anyway.
I hope people out there feel the same, because I actually haven't read a lot about this topic online. Like,
I haven't either.
Seen people talking about this, which I feel like it should be talked about.
I think truly they're waiting to see what it looks like, because it's probably going to be a Celebration. We got to get a glimpse of it. Celebration, I guarantee it. And there will be. I mean, you can easily probably guess there's going to be 50-50. There are going to be 50 people that hate it, and 50% of them are just going to say it's okay.
That's why
I don't know if anybody's going to actually be totally on board, to be honest.
That's why. Will they announce it at Celebration? Because that's risk. That is kind of risky to put out there in Celebration. Like, you're throwing.
Well, isn't there? There's no.
The filmmakers, I think, are going to be.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, if they will be, I'm pretty sure they. Well, actually, they're under production right now, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe not, but like that's the thing. Like, it might be risky to. it's one thing to put it online, but to put it like in front of the people like there in person, like Kathleen Kennedy saying like to the fans in person, like this is what Han Solo's going to look like in the Han Solo movie. She could very well be received with boos or cheers. I don't know.
Yeah, true. I mean, but this thing still. Now they pushed it to December, haven't they?
No, it's still May.
It's still May. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. So there is no, regardless if it was December, there is no other celebration, right? There's nothing from now except Comic Cons and D23s, right?
Yep.
To release some stuff, but nowhere where this much Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Before the movie releases, so I think we get some kind of teaser like we did with Rogue One. Those 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think there's that. Even if it's not, I mean, this will obviously, even if it's not in the movie, it'll be something with Han Solo. Probably something really quick, something with
just like walking in the costume, like very dimly lit, like you don't see his face too much, but you see him in the costume walking around.
Maybe
walking into the Falcon. I don't know.
Because I wonder what he's going to sound like, too. It's like,
is he
going to talk like him? I mean, it's so many variables.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
If we get anything in Celebration, I hope it is before Friday. Because. Big news here.
Everybody, 3 weeks. We are 3 weeks away from Celebration. This time 3 weeks from now, we would have been done with the first day.
Yeah. We're in line.
Probably in line for the episode 8 panel Friday morning. But those of you going to Celebration, our big announcement that we just learned this week is that Inside the Force is on the podcast stage.
Oh, man.
What did I just say?
What? Well, for those of you who don't know what the podcast stage is at Celebration, this is third year that they've done, or third celebration?
I think it's the third celebration.
They did it in Anaheim. They did it in London.
They did it. Didn't they do it? They did it the time we were in Orlando. I think that might have been the first time.
But anyways, Celebration. They reserve a room.
I take that back. I'm not 100% sure about that.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I can't remember. But Celebration, the convention centers, they reserve a room now where they, through an application process, they select and they invite Star Wars podcasts to come and do an hour of their show on this podcast stage.
Yes.
Live in front of whoever wants to come into the room to watch it. So this is during the events of Celebration in the same convention center as everything else. And they reserve a time slot. They give you some stuff and they, do your show. So I applied last month, got the email like 2 days ago that we were accepted. And we have a time slot. Friday night, April 14th from 6 to 7 p.m. Dave and I are going to do our show, Inside the Force, at the podcast stage at Celebration, live in front of whoever wants to come and watch it.
It's awesome.
What? This is incredible.
I'm like, I can't stop grinning. It's
this is nuts. And we're like, we got the announcement. You all, by the time you listen to this episode, you will see the list because they're putting it out Friday. But on the list, you'll see all the other shows like Full of Sith, Coffee with Kenobi, Fangirl, Skywalking Through Neverland. I think they're on there maybe. But like Star Wars Report, Rebels Report, all these shows are there. Pod Crash, Chris Gore.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is that ones that are on StarWars.com, because there's a big, if those of you who don't know, on the community tab on StarWars.com, there's a lot of fan podcasts on there. Unfortunately, we're not on there, and I don't know how to get on there technically, but maybe this will help. But either way, I was surprised, to be honest, because we applied a couple years ago, right, for Anaheim.
Oh, yep.
Ultimately, you didn't go. That would have probably changed your mind, though. But we didn't get on that. And I remember going by there and listening and seeing a little bit what was it about. And it looks pretty neat. It looks fun, at least. But and then they did it, like you said, in Europe. But no, I was thinking, well, they're probably going to grab all those from StarWars.com, which are 20. There's like 22 of them on the site now. So anyway, and then what they did was they randomly put you in the time slots. I didn't give
Yeah.
favor to anybody that was popular or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I feel like we've got a great time
I
slot.
hope so. I mean, sounds
So we're the second
great.
to last one
for
on Friday.
Yeah.
They start at like 10 o'clock, I think, in the morning.
About every hour within half hour in between each show.
Yes,
So,
to set up.
Yeah, we are 6 to 7, which is good because that's how long our show really is. So
That's right. And we are we're obviously very excited and thrilled, and we're going to keep talking about it for the next 3 weeks. But the big thing is we're planning. We're going to do a lot of planning on what we're going to be doing because hopefully, for those of you listening that are going to be there,
yeah,
come by. Obviously, we're going to keep telling you Friday at 6 o'clock. I'll get the specific room, but it's a third floor of the convention.
Well, yeah,
you can look it up.
I can quickly find it because actually said that.
But I'm telling you right now, we're going to do our best to line up some guests. We're going to definitely have some giveaways. We're definitely going to be doing some fan interactions, taking questions. I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to try to do, obviously, in the hour. Main thing is I know we all know about 99.9% sure is we're going to have a trailer to talk about.
Yeah.
For sure, because that, like I said, that Friday morning is the episode 8 panel.
Mm-hmm.
Be it a trailer or not, they're going to show something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
A little celebration reel or whatever.
Something. But it's going to be a trailer. I mean, I think everybody's anticipating a trailer. So obviously we'll talk a lot about that. But, we've already got kind of a short list of people that we're going to ask to see if they can be on the show. Mm-hmm. We'll have, like I said, just giveaways, signed merchandise. I got a pile of stuff here that I'm just going to take with me, and we're just going to just basically say thank you to the people that have been listening and being with us, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited if you guys are going to be there listening to us. I'm excited to meet you.
Correct.
Finally, get some face-to-face time with our listeners. That is what I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be the coolest thing ever. And again, like Dave said, we're going to try to work on our agenda, work on our programming for that show. But I would love to interact with you on our show if possible. I mean, I've been listening to some of the episodes. People have been doing it on past podcast stages, and they seem to have the ability to have a mic in the crowd, kind of a thing.
Nice
fan interaction.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So I want that. I want fan interaction. So please, guys, let us know if you're going to be there. Like tweet us, whatever. Let us know if you're going to be there. We'll tell you. We'll might wear specific shirts, whatever, to find us on the floor, but we'll definitely be in the room. And the room is it's the third floor. The room number is W310. Mm-hmm. So you'll see this on Friday. You'll see the floor plan is there, so you can find the actual room and where it is in the convention center on Celebration Orlando's website. But it's
been
Radio 1138. Gosh, they're
it's
on there
been.
too.
Gosh, I want to say it's been 5 years since it was in Orlando again. We went in 2012, right?
Yes. Yep.
So almost 5 years.
5 years.
I still remember the layout. So
yeah,
there was only 2 or 3 levels there at the convention center. Versus Anaheim was like 5 or 6 levels.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's huge. But no, we're so excited. We've been talking nonstop about it over the past couple of days. And we got a crew of people that are coming with us. We're driving. A bunch of us are driving down that Wednesday night. So it's like we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get ready for. We got a lot of digital media, social media stuff that we're putting together and getting our site up and running again differently. So it's hopefully we get all that stuff done, and then we're gonna just roll out all kinds of stuff. Very well. Honestly, it's kind of a Inside the Force, like, we've been talking about it for a little while about, I'll just go ahead and say it, because even though it's nothing on there right now, if anybody wants to get on there, but we're doing our own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
For years we've been part of the 21 network in a sense, but that's kind of shifting in a different direction. We're kind of separating ourselves and just sticking to Star Wars only content. And, Inside the Force is basically brought to you by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley, and we're gonna do some video. We're gonna just contribute more to the Star Wars and all the stuff that we dedicate our time to, which is the books, the novels, the TV shows, and all this stuff, the movies, and everything that we do. So this is almost a, we did a kind of new direction before, in a sense, where we changed our format of our show.
Yeah.
And this is almost another phase, in a sense, where we're gonna really push on more content and more social interaction and just getting more guests and stuff like that. So, anyway, so it's good that this is kind of that launching point, I feel like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
it's a good motivator. To
absolutely.
get all this done before the show.
Absolutely. So that's it. And we'll, like I said, we'll keep talking about this over the next couple shows. We've got 2 shows to do before we actually. I mean, we said we were going to probably do one on the way down,
yeah, definitely will.
But now we're doing one definitely when we're there.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm pumped. I'm so pumped.
It's just going to set the stage for the whole weekend. Unfortunately, we're not going to be there Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll be there all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday. So please, and again, we're going to be around also to other shows and that are there, and so we'll figure out. We're actually going to figure out a shirt that we're going to have so you can identify us pretty easily. But anyway, who knows? No one might be listening anyway right now, so it could be just the guys that we're going down with now. No, we know we got some fans, but hopefully you're making it the celebration. That's the big thing, is because we can't stress enough how so much fun Celebration is, and such a family Star Wars atmosphere. It's incredible.
Yeah. If you can't go to the show, it's streaming. It's going to stream again on Star Wars' website. The Star Wars show will be there doing the live stream.
Yes, and you know what? I think, now that you mentioned that, I do think that Europe, I think they live streamed the podcast room.
I don't remember. I was trying to think if they did or not, but I couldn't recall.
I think maybe they didn't, but we're going to try to see about live streaming our show at least.
Yeah, do our own kind of little live stream.
Do our show live.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So if you can't be there, then we'll tweet out or Facebook if we're going to be able to do that. So anyway, we I know no one. I don't know who. I know they're not listening, the ones that selected them, but thank you. We appreciate the opportunity, and we're going to definitely take advantage of it and really give everybody there a good show to listen to. So, because the one thing I will always say that I feel like, I don't know, I know everybody that does Star Wars podcasts and shows has love and dedication to it, and they're huge fans. And I'm not discrediting that. I believe that, and I believe that there's so many of us out there that really, truly love Star Wars. But I don't know. I will always feel like our passion for it is just so much grander than anybody I know. Casey, by far, you're probably the only one I know that's even close to my level. I feel like, because there's so many people that. It's surprising that you meet and you hear people talk and say, "Oh, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love it." And I mentioned something about it, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
wait a minute. Don't you love Star Wars?" So, and I'm not saying you have to know everything, but even simple things. Like I said, there was one guy that came in my office and saw the Rogue One thing or something like that before it came out. And I mentioned something about it. That was in the trailer, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't see that." Yeah, and I'm like, "But you love Star Wars? Come on, I don't know." So it's anyway. I just there's it is a love, but there's a passion about it that is just. I feel like that's obviously why we have done the show for 4 years now, right? So
that's
in fact, our anniversary is this.
It's coming up.
Is it this one or next week?
It's 3 days from now.
Oh, 3 days?
From when we're recording.
26th, yeah. Wow. So, happy anniversary.
Anniversary's 4 years, man.
4 years.
4 years. That's so
wow.
Remember getting the call from you when I was in college, senior year, saying, like, you want to do a podcast show.
I don't even remember.
I remember
how that came up.
it was at night. I was just in my dorm room, and like we just started talking about it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. But here we are, going to celebration.
177 episodes.
Yeah,
7, 8, 9. So that'd be 180.
yeah. I was thinking,
wait.
Yeah, I was thinking if it would be like 200, but it's not.
No,
Yeah,
it
not
won't be
won't be
200.
close.
Unless we did one every day.
180 though, that would be
180 is a
pretty
big
special.
number. Yeah, 180 is a big number.
Not many podcasts out there have that many episodes.
No. There's
Some people have been longer than us, but not weekly.
correct.
So.
Yeah, weekly.
Oh boy, so excited!
But that's again the show. I mean, that takes passion to me to have something to talk about every week.
I mean, you've done more. I've been absent for like maybe a few, like small handful, maybe like 3 or 4 episodes, maybe not even that, 2 or 3 episodes. We haven't done it every week. There's been some hiatus.
There's been some hiatus,
of course.
But maybe you've been absent. Definitely not more than 5 times.
Yeah, so we've done this mostly every week for 4 years. That's
absolutely. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's dedication, everybody. And so anyway, again, we can't stress enough how excited we are. We're going to be there. And it's I tell you, I'll be honest, right now it's a little nerve wracking because I want us to be able to put together the best show we can. And I wish we had 2 months to plan it, but we only got 3 weeks, so that's fine. We'll do it. Okay, so kind of moving on from that, we got a couple things we want to talk about, basically review. Real quick, I'll just kick this out. I keep forgetting to mention this when I get these, but the Smuggler's Bounty box that came this past week, for those of you that aren't subscribed, smugglersbounty.com is the official Funko subscription box for Star Wars. This month was Star Wars Rebels, and man, there is a exclusive Darth Maul pop figure in there and a Rex figure. The Darth Maul one is awesome, fantastic. Unfortunately, mine came a little damaged. My box came a little damaged. Oh man, yeah, I was really mad, and I actually took a picture and I sent them an email. I was like, is there any way I could send this back and get a new one? They're like, well, unfortunately,
it's kind of
that's why we put them in a box so they don't get damaged. So we can't really refund it
that's
so sorry. I'm like, but they said, thanks for subscribing. Anyway, so there's a cool t-shirt obviously in there. But it was a great bounties box. So go get that, smugglersbounty.com if you aren't subscribed. Every 2 months, it's $25. Okay, so the two things we're going to talk about, I guess we'll do, you want to do Aftermath first?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do Aftermath first. So we're going to talk about Aftermath, and then we'll talk about the big Rebels episode from last week. Aftermath, it's been out for a little while. I think it came out a year ago, right? May even been before that. But Star Wars Aftermath, written by Chuck Wendig, and the release date was September 4th, 2015. So about a little over a year and a half ago. All three, this is the first of the trilogy of Aftermath books. All three of them are out now, but took me a while. Took both of us a little while to get through it and get done. I just did the audiobook. Obviously, you read it. The audiobook, again, I will say, it was performed by Mark Thompson, who did A New Dawn and Heir to the Jedi. Both were decent books, the way I reviewed on here, but the reads were good. He's really good. He does a good Han Solo, actually.
Yes.
But Chuck Wendig wrote it. Mark Thompson voiced the audiobook, and I love audiobooks. I love the audiobooks. Anyway, so Aftermath takes place, I think, roughly about 5 or 6 months,
if that, really.
if that.
I think no more than 6 months, but I could say 3 to 4 months. But yeah, it's within the half a year.
Yeah,
within 6
it's not.
months.
It's because we know for a fact that Jakku, the Battle of Jakku, is a year,
Yeah,
which is in I think the third book.
yeah, it seems
I think
like
it's in Empire's End, and but see at this point, look, we won't give away the full story, but there might be some spoilers we talk about a little bit, so forgive us. But but by this book, Han and Leia are married.
Yeah,
They are married. So however long that took to.
Life Dad addresses it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So far, whatever. They actually talk about where they got married. Pretty cool.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Aftermath.
Yeah.
What'd you initial thoughts on that?
I did. I mean, I liked it. I think we agree on a couple things about the pacing of it, but it is. I understand why people had problems with it, mainly about the writing style. His writing style is interesting. I gave a little review for this weeks ago when I did the show, but so if you heard that, I'll kind of reiterate some of the things. But his writing style is unique, where his sentence structure, where he'll like kind of, I don't know how to even explain it. He'll kind of like stop himself in the middle of a sentence and like do like a colon and then like finish it. He has a weird little. So he'll sometimes do it.
See, I don't see that.
You don't see it. It's weird reading it to me, honestly. But
right.
maybe the audiobook might not even notice it. So the writing style is interesting. I think it does change throughout the book, honestly. And Life Dead, the sequel to Life Dead, the sequel to Aftermath, which is Life Dead that I'm reading now, the style is actually different. So I don't know if he kind of changed some things or not, but it's a little different, just the syntax of his writing. But the story, I did like. It started off kind of slow. I don't know where it was going in the first 100 pages or so, which usually takes that much time for, I think, a book to kind of get into its rhythm. Almost like the first act of a book is like the first 100 pages in a way. So I think it definitely takes around page 100, 115 to really get the story going. However, it seemed kind of slow to get there. You're being thrown into it with all these different characters here and there. You're introduced to like this the former Imperial, this bounty hunter, Temmin Wexley, Nora Wexley. What you see Wedge a little bit, and Ray Sloan, Admiral Sloan, who we know already from A New Dawn. So you get glimpses of all these different characters, which is very Star Wars-esque, all these parallel stories.
Is Sloan in Lost Stars too, or no?
No, she's not.
She's not. Oh, okay.
So it's just interesting. You're thrown into all these different stories, all these different characters. You're not sure where it's going, but then it does tie in together. They all relate. They all band together to kind of go after the main conflict of it. So it works at the end. And I actually love the last part of it, the last 100 pages or so, when the final kind of battle and all this and that. So it ended very well for me. I really liked it, and I'm excited to kind of read through the rest of the books now. But it did kind of take a while for me to get there. So it obviously, because it took me a while to read the book.
Yeah, I think for me, what threw me off a little bit, although I did enjoy some of them, were the interludes.
Yes.
There were so many of them.
Yeah,
almost
and still unsure where they're going.
correct. You were correct, though, in the 1313 interlude. That was the boy from the beginning.
Yeah.
So here's where I had an issue with the book for a little while, was that, and this has nothing to do with the book or the story. This really had to do with personal preference. I remember when we were at Celebration and we saw the announcement, Star Wars Aftermath. It's like, oh man, that book looks awesome. It was at Anaheim, and I remember seeing the cover that was just released, and my immediate thought was, oh, okay, so this is going to be kind of like the Thrawn trilogy we didn't get, right?
In a way, yeah.
So, this is 3 or 4 years after Return of the Jedi. We got, Luke with a budding Jedi Academy. We've got Han and Leia. I'm just thinking that the whole time when I first heard about the book. And again, I'm not, at the time I wasn't really into the novels so much because I did want to read them, but then I thought, at the time I didn't even think about audio. I was just going to try to read them, and I'll fully admit it. I'm a poor reader. I'm not a fast reader, so it would have took me forever to get through.
Yeah.
So when I finally started picking up on audiobooks, man, it's perfect for me on my driving. But so I'm able to bust through these books faster. So anyway, so when I started finding out that, well, again, I didn't even know when I started this fully what it was about. I didn't read about it. I knew I heard a Nora Wexley was in it.
Yeah.
I heard a Snap Wexley was in it. But beyond that, I didn't know. And so anyway, starting off, I think the prologue to this thing was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The father and the son that are on Coruscant, right at the basically it's Return of the Jedi when they're pulling the Emperor statue down.
Yeah.
And because that scene, you know, you're immediately thinking that all of a sudden everything's just happy.
Yeah.
No more. All the guns are stopped firing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in truth, it's the complete opposite. There's still a battle going on, and that scene. You know, it's like those people are in danger that you're seeing on the screen. They're celebrating, but literally the next page is like all hell breaks loose. You know, so it was a very cool, different turn as of what we know, opposed to what was established in the EU, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the problem I had personal preference was that I wanted to know about Luke, and I wanted to know about Leia, and I wanted to know about Han, and what was going on with them, but it's not this book. I do feel like Sloane has taken place of the Thrawn character.
Absolutely.
Because she's Grand Admiral Sloane.
Yeah, in the second book.
I
liked that, yeah.
So I like her character a lot. I think
I do.
she's good. But as like you said, as the book got towards the end, I really, really started enjoying it more because I fully accepted now. I'm like, okay, it's about these group of characters that have come together. So it's very similar in a sense to A New Hope. The farm boy, the princess, and the smuggler getting together. Force Awakens, you know, these new characters coming together, Rey and Finn. And now basically what this trilogy I'm assuming is doing, we've introduced this new group of characters. Yeah. So it's Nora Wexley, it's Temmin Wexley in a sense.
Jas Emiri.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sinjir Rath Velas, who is a former loyalist officer of the Imperial of the Empire.
Yeah.
So he was present on the Battle of Endor. He was on Endor.
Yeah.
And another person that we find out was on Endor was a bounty hunter named Jas Emari. Jas Emari. And she is a Zabrak, which, if you don't know that species, is the one with... It looks like
Dathomirian.
It's a Dathomirian, basically.
Yeah.
Why is she not called a Dathomirian? Is this the females are Zabraks? Is that what it is?
I mean, it's interchangeable. I don't know. That's weird to me.
But she looks like Darth Maul.
Yeah, she's basically like a
horned
Saj kind of thing, but with horns.
Yeah. Maybe are they Zabraks and they live on Dathomirian?
Yeah,
So that's why they're Dathomirian?
Yeah,
But okay,
that's
so
basically what it is.
well, I don't know. Is that what he says?
It says he's
Zabrak?
Yep.
Okay, so but cool. So she's a bounty hunter. And it's funny how he voices her because she's very...
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's... if I can kind of...
Is it like a British accent?
No, it's not British. It's more or less like...
it's like an Asajj kind of voice.
So we're gonna go get this bounty, you know. Like she's
really?
very it's really weird, but with a more female voice.
Yeah.
I can't do the female voice, but
That's very well done.
and it's funny how you read it obviously. The point where she thinks that Sinjir is hitting on her.
Yeah,
you know, like.
so we can mate.
We can do this after.
Yeah.
We'll afterwards.
Oh, wait,
he's like,
oh.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But anyway, the gist of this, basically the summary, I'll just say a quick summary of the main story, I guess, which how it kicks off is Wedge. So there's a familiar character, Wedge Antilles, gets captured by Sloan, and this group of Nora Wexley, who was in the Y Wing. Was it the Y Wing? Right. Mm-hmm. She was in the Y Wing that was inside the second Death Star.
Yeah.
So when
Lando.
when Lando says, split off and head to the surface and see if you can take some of those TIE fighters with it, and then the guy in the A-Wing says, copy, Gold Leader.
Yeah.
There's a Y-Wing behind the A-Wing, and that is Nora Wexley.
Yeah.
Snap Wexley's mother, which is pretty cool. And it's funny because in the first issue of Shattered Empire, if you remember this, do you remember Shattered Empire?
It's Poe's mom.
Wait a minute. No, it's Nora.
Nora's?
Well, Poe's mom was in an X-Wing.
Yeah.
But I want to say, wow, because I thought I read that maybe, because I think it maybe showed her in an A-Wing.
No, they would have been conflicted. I thought...
Because Nora Wexley almost shot down Luke when he flew out of the Death Star with the shuttle. Mm-hmm. Like, that was Nora. I'll look that up while we're talking. But anyway, so, and basically all this happens on a planet called Akiva. Mm-hmm. And there's an Imperial meeting going on, so there's just a bunch of stuff goes on. Anyway, so in the end, like I said, it's a really good adventure story with this group. And it definitely ends leading into a next sequel, which I started Life Debt right away, and it did pick up right where it left off, and we're off running again on Life Debt. So overall, I really did. In the end, I really did enjoy it. I didn't give it a 5-star rating. I gave it a 4-star, but the 5-star I gave was the performances, Mark Thompson. So anyway, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It's really cool, how they're introducing Snap Wexley into the canon. And he's like around 15, 16, I think, roughly.
Yeah. The audio version of him, though, he made him talk and sound like a 10-year-old, unfortunately. Because he's a very whiny kind of kid. Well, I mean, but there's good moments.
Oh yeah,
with her.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. Is that like they've done a great job of introducing him and his relationship with his mother and their father. Which actually there's a story there. Which I haven't read all of Life Debt or all of Empire's End, so maybe they address his father more. They go find him. I don't know. But it's just cool how Snap has kind of taken care of himself. He was raised by his aunt on Akiva, but he kind of takes care of himself. He's like working the black market on Akiva. He refitted a battle droid, a B-1 battle droid from the Clone War era, and put like these other modifications on him. Actually fastening bones to him, and he calls him Mr. Bones. And he has this battle droid has some awesome scenes where he's like slicing up and taking out some stormtroopers and other bad guys, and it's cool. It's really cool, and he's also in the sequel as well. But it's cool to see Snap Wexley in this book. You read him in Bloodline, you see him in Force Awakens, and you get that glimpse of how he kind of grew up, and it's a cool arc for a brand new character in the saga. And I'm excited to see how much further he does grow in the second and third book here. But yeah, I'm about about 150 pages or so into Life Debt, and probably will finish it. I'm really going to try really hard to finish that and finish Empire's End before our panel on Celebration, because maybe we can review those books for our panel. I don't know, but I'm going to hopefully read all that. Will not get to Thrawn, but I'll definitely read the Aftermath trilogy before Celebration.
Speaking of, I'm pretty sure we're going to be giving away Thrawn on our stuff, because that is...
that'd be cool.
Okay, so looking in that real quick, Shattered Empire, actually, it's Poe's mother that almost shot Luke down when he busted out of the shuttle, with Vader. For some reason, I thought that was Nora, but it's not. So but Nora was in the Y wing in the Death Star.
Yeah. Cool.
So she's flying around in there while Luke's getting out. So that wouldn't really make sense anyway. But she's at A-wing, in the A-wing. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on real fast to the big episode that was in Star Wars Rebels. Twin Suns. Now, last week we talked about our anticipation for this thing was incredibly high. Mm-hmm. I will say real fast that which is still actually going. We did our poll on Twitter, and I said, now that you've seen Twin Suns a dozen times, is it the best Star Wars Rebels episode ever?
So hard to say.
Did you vote?
I did vote. I did.
So as of right now, the tally is 58%. It's pretty close. 58-42. 58% said no, it is not the best episode ever. What do you think?
I said no. It's so hard. This is a great episode. I still think I like the season 2 finale with Darth Vader and Ahsoka.
Oh, that's
and
true.
Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. I mean,
yeah,
that one was really good.
It's true. Yeah, I would agree with you only because we got more Vader than we did Obi-Wan. I feel like because this whole episode was really about how Maul was going to lure Obi-Wan out, right? Because he couldn't find him.
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting you hear Filoni talk about how, I mean, he's been there for a while looking.
Yeah, it's a whole planet.
It's a whole planet. Yeah, how do you find one guy on a whole planet, you know? So he had to lure him out somehow, and that's how he gets Ezra involved. So I thought that was pretty neat because, and I was very surprised that he knew who Ezra Bridger was.
Yeah, I guess while he was Obi-Wan, you're talking about Obi-Wan. He
is it possible he just asked Chopper?
He could have. Yeah, he could have asked him. Or, I don't know if he could read his mind, kind of like just read his thoughts real quick or something like that. But or if he had his ID on him, I don't know. But he had his wallet on him. Chopper probably. He charged up Chopper somehow. So he
before he woke up, like, who is this kid?
Yeah, quickly tell me.
He's Ezra Bridger.
Oh, you're in the wrong place, Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
How do you know my name? It was pretty awesome episode.
It was, and I love the fact too that, because I did read some people commenting online how they wanted more, like they didn't get enough.
It is a controversial episode.
Yeah,
you might say. But
I love how the way they told the story though was exactly what Obi-Wan said to Bridger. Like he said, "This is you're on the wrong path. This is not your path."
Yep.
It's almost like this is not the story of Star Wars Rebels.
You shouldn't be seeing this.
Yeah, this is like just a sidebar before we get back on track. Mm-hmm. So it's like we're almost following Ezra. He's not supposed to go here.
Absolutely.
He's not supposed to do this.
That's a
but
good point.
He did, and then we're seeing it, and then he's now away from Obi-Wan and going back on his path.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like you feel like you're in the wrong place. It's like Ezra shouldn't be on Tatooine.
Yes, that's right.
He shouldn't be talking to Obi-Wan. Like this is a much bigger story than him. Although the Ghost Crew has proven himself to be very important to the saga now, or to the rebellion at least. It's like, but this is the main Star Wars story. Like he can't. It's hard for these characters to touch that. So that's a good point. That Obi-Wan kind of makes that known.
Yeah. So we get to everybody was anticipating the fight.
Yes.
Which I'll just flat out say, what was your initial reaction?
It was shocking, absolutely, that how short it was. No one expected that. I mean, someone might have expected it, but no one thought it would actually probably happen. It very divided reactions. I know my brother Corey is against it. I'm for it. As soon as I saw it, as soon as it happened, I was like, that was awesome. I totally think that's how it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
After watching Rebels Recon and reading about it, like just hearing other explanations, I'm like, yes, absolutely. I totally think that's how it exactly should have gone. Just like 2 moves. It was just so fast.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was. I mean, it was one of them things where you're like. I mean, it's so funny. I'm going to act this out, but it was like, oh, it was like, oh my gosh, that's it.
Yeah.
But how it ended with him in his arms.
Yeah, he was cradling Darth Maul.
I mean, you just think about that image, and then the image of them fighting in Phantom Menace is like, look how far these characters have gone. You know, from, I mean, we're talking 40 plus years, right? Episode 1 was almost, well, actually, I'm sorry, 30, almost 30 years.
17 plus 30, about right around 30
almost
years.
30 years, right? Yeah, roughly 30 years. So, and it's not like this was the only times, because there was times in the Clone Wars where they fought again, right? They're. I mean, it's like they're arch enemies. I mean, they are, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, Qui-Gon was killed by, his master was killed by Darth Maul. He nearly killed himself by Darth Maul. He thought he killed him, and then he comes back, and then, he's, I don't know, it's just, it's great to see. Like, I haven't thought about this. I almost want to just watch Maul and those episodes. So, like, watch episode 1 and watch Clone Wars episode where he comes back, and then those battles that they have.
Then all the Rebels episodes.
And then the Rebels episodes. It's like, God, this is so much.
They should release it separately so everybody can watch it.
It's a big Darth Maul Obi-Wan movie.
Everybody needs to know this happen, because the average fan probably doesn't even know Darth Maul came back.
Exactly.
So it's like they're still believing, like, gosh, Darth Maul never got his, justice in the Star Wars universe. So it's just, yes, he did. Like this, his story turned out like it happened exactly how it should have happened. Well, sort of, like he came back. They fought again. Epic fights in Clone Wars. Not really action fight this time, but still epic in its own way. But
Yes.
Watching Rebels Recon, you guys definitely need to watch it for this episode, because they explain the fight so well. Where, why it happened so fast. And Filoni's always been of the mind where it's like true swordsmen, like samurai movies, where they're going to spend 20 minutes, 15 minutes in a fancy duel with all these flourishes. They know their moves, and they can study their opponent, and they kind of can anticipate what their opponent's going to do. And it should really be only a few seconds. It should be about a minute fight. It shouldn't be like a crazy fight across a lava planet. Like, it should be a really quick, simple fight. And that's what this was. But like, also, there's moments in the episode where it's just close-ups of their faces staring at each other, lightsabers drawn. And like, Rebels Recon talks about how, these guys, they're sitting thinking, planning out how the fight's going to go. Because they fought each other so many times, they know each other's moves.
Yes.
And exactly that's how it happened. Darth Maul's move that he did was the same killing blow that he used on Qui-Gon Jinn.
Correct.
Where he used the hilt of his blade to knock him in the face, and he was going to stab him in the chest. Obi-Wan knew that. And so he knew how to fight against that. He just sliced right down the middle and got him.
You got him.
Like, incredible. And why it's like, why is Obi-Wan, like, this is the enlightened Obi-Wan. This is the Obi-Wan who's been studying and learning and meditating for the past 17 years.
Fully connected to the Force.
Exactly. I mean, he's essentially, one with the Force right now. He just needs to die so he can become a spirit. But he's been talking to Qui-Gon. He's been, so he's just in a completely different mindset. Whereas Darth Maul, although he is a little mature in his own way, but he's still that vengeful person.
Very selfish and vengeful.
So he's using the same old moves, doing the same stuff, while Obi-Wan is totally above and beyond where he was.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they gave, because Obi-Wan, it looked like, wasn't even going to fight him.
Oh, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't planning on it. But
there was a reason that was brought up, because Maul figured out he was protecting somebody.
Yeah, that was
it is. There's their motive, and there's your reason. It's phenomenal, because I did not expect that. It's like, because you can see his face. get serious and then just
here it is. Just got to happen. Now.
Oh man,
you cannot get in the way of Luke Skywalker.
He cannot survive. You knew right then.
Yeah.
There's no way Maul was going to survive that.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Because he would go after Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. He would.
Think.
Yeah, exactly. He would have had to. He would have had to keep finding Maul, tracking him down until he killed him. But what did confuse me a little bit was what Maul said.
True. This is a conversation here. Yeah. Some people go ahead.
But basically he said, "Is he the chosen one?"
Sure.
Which again, the prophecy of the chosen one. To me, that's why I was a little taken aback by. Is he referring to the prophecy, thinking that this person he's protecting is the chosen one? Not because I don't. Obviously, he doesn't know that Anakin was maybe the chosen one. I don't know.
Sidious may have told him anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, however, so this Obi-Wan was referring to Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that.
Now, I've seen articles on website. People are like, "Oh my gosh, Star Wars just confirmed Luke Skywalker is the chosen one." No, they did not. Anakin is the chosen one. You get and Filoni's said this too in interviews where you got to think of it as like, if you're watching this for the first time, you haven't even seen the original Star Wars movies. First of all, this is the first time you've seen Obi-Wan, maybe, and he's talking about this kid, chosen one, whatever. But anyways, to Obi-Wan, Luke probably is the chosen one. Anakin obviously isn't the chosen one in his eyes because he didn't bring balance to the Force. He left it in darkness.
He said you were the chosen one.
Yeah, you were. Yeah,
you were the chosen one. So you didn't fulfill the prophecy.
Absolutely, and Yoda's even said misread a prophecy. The prophecy might have been misread. I'm sure he wholeheartedly believes that he's the chosen one. Also, he was probably saying a little bit of what Darth Maul wanted to hear. He says that in the whole episode. The truth is what you want it to be, kind of thing. But Obi-Wan believes that Luke's the chosen one. He does not. Darth Vader,
because he does fulfill,
comes back to becoming Anakin, still fulfills the prophecy.
That's right.
So everybody rest assured, nothing has changed.
And the last thing I think we have to point out is Filoni made a great point too. Like you said, if you're seeing this in order, even if you watched, episode 1, 2, all the Clone Wars, 3, started watching Rebels, you don't know. All you know from Luke is the baby you saw in episode 3. And now you're seeing a little boy run across the screen. Yeah. Like that gave me the chills gave me
perfect.
With the music, the binary sunset.
Baru, Luke,
the exact the voice, same voice, right? They just pulled it.
Yeah.
And actually they said I think I read that Luke was an Ezra.
Yeah, because they're the same age. They're about 17 years old.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was so taken aback by that. But if you think about it, for someone that just sees it in order, they have no idea who Luke is.
Yep.
What he's capable
and
of.
It's such a good tease.
Absolutely.
Wow, I'm excited to see who this kid is now.
And that's how it was set up, and it was perfect. It was just perfect.
Yeah. Then you go watch Rogue One.
That's right.
That leads you right into 4.
You can watch Rogue One right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I just saw it on. I just saw it saying midnight, 3:24.
Very cool.
So here in about 30 minutes, it's available. Anyway, Twin Sons, phenomenal.
Yep.
I do agree. Probably the second best episode besides
I'd say so.
The Vader one. I agree.
Yeah, and there's a clip now for the finale.
Oh yeah, next week finale.
Yep.
1 hour finale.
Yep.
0 hour.
0 hour.
Part 1, part 2. I think. As they say, the stuff's going to hit the fan with Thrawn
going down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, the Battle of Lothal is what it looks like. So anyway, tune into that. We'll talk about that obviously next week. That'll be this weekend. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Before we get to profiles, actually, I saw this tweet here or about this news article. Apparently, Pablo Hidalgo gave a seminar recently, and he said a lot of things about just different Star Wars stuff that is kind of not groundbreaking. almost like breaking news. But he has since said that some of his stuff that they said was taken out of context. But let me read this because I know you haven't heard this because I just got this tweet. So some of the things that Pablo Hidalgo has said in this seminar. One, the fourth season of Rebels is definitely the last season.
Oh.
Again, I'll say Pablo Hidalgo has since then said some of these things have been taken out of context, and he doesn't really care to clarify. So take it what you will. So fourth season of Rebels is the last. Rebels events in Rebels and Clone Wars will probably tie into even more so into future saga movies such as The Last Jedi. Hidalgo says it's very much possible. The Yoda, some storylines in Clone Wars, the Yoda arc, the Ghost of Mortis, the Seventh Sister, all those little storylines were all Lucas stories and are absolutely necessary for the understanding of the Force going forward. The Mortis series, I
gotta watch that again.
Is so incredible.
Yeah.
When is the new cartoon going to be set? Pablo Hidalgo didn't say. He just said, "Go to Celebration."
When is the
new cartoon going to be set? Rebels panel.
Man.
Rebels panel. They're probably going to say 4 seasons the last.
The next
when
series.
the next series is going to be, and maybe even what it's going to be about. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
We said our theory, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they're very much aware of the Last Jedi line in Return of the Jedi, about Luke being the Last Jedi. And they're still canon Ezra, so they're very much aware of this question. They're not going to make Yoda a liar, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Episode 8 will answer a lot of questions about the Jedi and what happened with Ben Solo turning to the dark side. The time between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens is definitely going to be explored, of course, with projects, that kind of stuff. And some stuff about the First Order and Resistance. So that's a lot of new pieces of info there. I don't know exactly what might have been taken out of context or not, because that's some pretty cool stuff. So just want to throw that at you guys. I literally got this notification about this little news report. So
yeah, I'm not sure how you twist that unless you add some.
Yeah, but there it is.
Unless he said no comment and he's like, he just said this.
Yeah.
He just said it was going to be the last season.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Nope. So. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's big. That is a huge. Hopefully, they don't announce it at Friday at 6 because we're going to be doing something then.
Yeah.
So, the scheduling should be out now. I think Friday the 24th is when they're going to announce kind of the event schedule for Celebration. So. But anyway, thanks for checking us out, guys. Let's talk a little bit about Maul. A couple things about Maul.
So, Darth Maul. His appearances as of this book, the Ultimate Star Wars DK book, when this was published, Maul obviously had not appeared in Rebels. So his only appearances were Episode 1 in Clone Wars. And the comic book Shadow Collective. Son of Dathomir. Which is about the Shadow Collective. So that's in here as well. Species, Zabrak. Homeworld, Dathomir. Affiliation, Sith and Night Brothers. So, yes, Darth Maul was born on Dathomir. He was born a Night Brother, just like there are Night Sisters, there are Night Brothers on Dathomir. This is talked about a little bit in Clone Wars. But Maul was taken by Darth Sidious to be a Sith apprentice, dark side. I gave him the double-bladed lightsaber. We're actually going to see a lot of this in the prequel comic, probably. Some of this in the prequel comic that's coming out. We just read the first issue not too long ago. So I hope that's going to be an awesome comic. So the profile here goes, of course, what's with the movies, what's in the Clone Wars, that kind of stuff. And even talks about the Shadow Collective time. But it's just interesting because for those of you who don't know, if you don't know these things, after he was killed by after he was killed by Obi-Wan, supposedly killed by Obi-Wan on Naboo, Maul was taken to this junk planet called Lotho Minor. He's lost all of his memories. He's been there for about 12 years. on this junk planet, he was kind of given. I don't know how he got those legs though. I don't know if it was explained. I can't remember how he got those spider robotic legs. But Savage Opress in Clone Wars was kind of sent on a mission to go find Maul and to kind of train with Maul so that Savage Opress could be better. So he found Darth Maul, saw he was crazed out of his mind, didn't really remember anything besides his vengeance against against Obi-Wan. Mother Talzin restored his memories. They got new cybernetic legs. Thus began Darth Maul's crusade against the Jedi and even the Separatists in a way. He was kind of taking revenge against Sidious, against Dooku, against Obi-Wan, the Jedi, everybody. So he kind of absorbed the Death Watch, Black Sun, those kind of people, and became the Shadow Collective. And this and that. Sidious captured him, killed Savage, but Darth Maul ended up escaping all of that. Also, what's not in here is the brief little scene we got from Darth Maul and Ahsoka. The Ahsoka prologue, where Ahsoka fights Darth Maul.
That's right.
I can't remember what planet it was, but it was Anakin.
It was Mandalore, wasn't it? Was that Mandalore? I think it was Mandalore.
But he was, fighting Darth Maul's army. That kind of stuff was really cool. Really cool scene. But again, Darth Maul escapes that also, and we don't see him until the Rebels show, where he is now dead. So,
now dead.
He's dead. Darth Maul.
Well, I'll answer your question real quick here, kind of.
Okay.
Looking for new legs? Try scoring Lothal Miners junkyards. An injured Maul finds himself 6 arachnid-like legs after his own are chopped off by Obi-Wan. So he finds them on the junk planet.
Yeah.
And then, well, basically it says Darth Maul's Guide to Looking Evil, and it says, ask your cronies for help. Maul acquires a new set of cybernetic legs from the Night Sisters to renew his vendetta against Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So
somehow he's able to graft the spider's legs to his upper half on Lothal Miner.
But it does say, the quick Q&A here, how does Maul survive being cut in half? The power of anger. Maul draws on his master's dark side lessons to harness his rage and stay alive after Obi-Wan mains him in the duel on Naboo. Rumor has it that his top half fell down a reactor shaft into a trash container, which was then shipped to Lothal Miner.
Yeah. Also, the lightsaber cauterized his lower half, so
exactly.
I'm sure none of his entrails were falling out.
Right.
That's good that you mentioned that, because in the Knights of the Old Republic 2 video game, I feel like I've mentioned this before, I don't know, but there's a villain character called Darth Sion, where he's basically a zombie in a way, because he's been hurt and maimed so many times, but he uses the dark side of the Force to keep his body together, physically together. By sheer willpower is he staying alive, because his anger, his dark side is keeping him together. Because the Sith don't believe in aftermath; they want to survive as long as they can. So that makes total sense that Darth Maul also used that mentality.
Yeah,
very cool,
awesome. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We went a little long on this one, but we had a lot to talk about. So thank you for listening. Again, we'll be back here next week to definitely review the season finale of Star Wars Rebels. Of course, talk more about what we're going to do with Celebration and whatever news comes up your way from the Star Wars galaxy. Of course, we're at InsideTheForce.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And, of course, YouTube, brand new channel we're going to start putting together. So go there and subscribe if you want. I mean, it's not at Inside the Force yet because we don't have that yet. But you know how that works. You got to get some subscribers. So let's subscribe to it. And he's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DCottingham21 on Twitter. We'll be back next week. Thanks, guys. And for Case Cooley.
The truth is what you make of it. You heard what you wanted to hear. Obi-Wan Kenobi from Rebels.
Was that this last episode? Did he say that? Yeah, that's right.
The truth is what you make of it. What we make of it. You heard what you wanted to hear. So,
awesome.
Very good.
Unfortunately, James R. Taylor did not voice
Stephen Stanton.
Stanton.
Very good job.
Who does... He does
AP5.
AP5.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yes, that's right.
He's incredible.
Yes. And a quick reminder, too, if those of you missed last week's episode, our buddy Chad Perkins interviewed Steve Bloom for us. So he is who plays Zeb Aurelios. That was last week's episode. Check that out. Very good insight on his job on Rebels. So, all right. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate everything you guys do. We will be back next week. And, of course, make your way to Celebration if you can. For Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave Cattingham, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.